Hey entrepreneur, this is Mark Newsom, Mr. Marketing. Welcome to this special presentation entitled 5 Powerful Business Lessons the late great Colonel Harland Sanders can teach us all about success in life and business. From extremely humble beginnings to world-renowned and beloved business leader. Ladies and gentlemen, in this extremely short video, you're going to discover 5 incredibly powerful business lessons that can be learned courtesy of the late great Colonel Harland Sanders. Now, some of you may or may not recognize that picture, but you most certainly recognize that logo with that legendary picture. That is the one and only Colonel Harland Sanders. What you may not know about the good Colonel is, long before the legendary business empire, Colonel Harland Sanders, or Harland Sanders, he was actually born in 1890 in a little town called Henryville, Indiana. Now here's why this is significant for 2 reasons. Number one, to date, he is probably still the most famous citizen ever born there. And number 2, from those beginnings, ladies and gentlemen, you know you've made it when people can Google, was Colonel Sanders actually a colonel? The real answer is no, he was not. He was actually dubbed that, legend has it, by one of the governors of the state who said he was a colonel, and it just stuck. Now, here's why this is important and what you can learn about this man. Ladies and gentlemen, back in the 50s, the good Colonel, or Harland Sanders, was famous because he had a small gas station hooked to a restaurant, and people would come off the interstate and eat this man's legendary chicken. Now, the Colonel got the idea after the age of 40, long past the time when people should be thinking about becoming entrepreneurs and make a fortune. But there was a major problem. You see, before KFC, you see them everywhere in every major city now, and even in the rural areas and all over the world. Back then, there were no nationally franchised fast food chicken places. It was unheard of. So, with that said, here's the first business lesson that we can learn from the good Colonel. This man endured a ton of professional rejection, criticism. He was chastised before he ever sold his first franchise. So the lesson for you and I is, ladies and gentlemen, you better strap your success strap on as tight as you can, because before you hit it big, there are going to be tons of bumps in the road and plenty of haterade headed your way. Here's business lesson number 2. This man created a USA, or what some people call a USP, a unique selling advantage and or unique selling proposition, because he claimed the reason why his chicken tastes so good is he had this secret 11 herbs and spices. Now, who knows if that's the truth, but the point is, he didn't invent chicken. He didn't reinvent cooking chicken. What he did was he had a unique angle, and he used it as a marketing tool, and he made a lot of money. Now, here's the third thing. Some of you recognize, I guess everybody practically recognizes that logo there, the golden arches. Well, Ray Kroc had shown everybody the way with franchising. So when Colonel Sanders started out, business lesson number 3 is he did what any savvy, smart entrepreneur would do. The Colonel used a proven business model, in other words, franchising, to create huge marketing leverage. And he made himself a fortune. Yes, he did. Now here's business lesson number 4. You know, when this gentleman was crisscrossing the country in his now legendary white suit, cane, white hair, white mustache, he created an unmistakable worldwide brand. Of course, at the time, people thought it was a little odd. Who is this old guy with the gray hair driving around in this Cadillac? calling themselves a colonel, and he's not a real colonel. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you and I are probably not going to go that far to be able to create a logo like the colonel did, but the point is your brand, what you stand for. Make sure you stick to your guns. And finally, here's something else you may not know about the legendary Harland Sanders. Long before the colonel hit it big, there was another gentleman. You might recognize him. That is the late founder, Dave Thomas, founder of Wendy's. Well, Dave Thomas was a young man when he was working with a young Harland Sanders, and Dave Thomas is one of the marketing geniuses that came up with a lot of the chicken combinations and all this other stuff and coupons and a lot of other stuff that Kentucky Fried Chicken is now famous for. So business lesson is number 5 is this. Entrepreneur, whenever you can, surround yourself with the best talent you can afford, which means you have to have an eye for being able to spot talent. And clearly the colonel had that, because Dave Thomas, most people don't know this, when Dave Thomas founded Wendy's, he was already a multi-millionaire because of his association with Colonel Sanders. Colonel Sanders made that young man a multi-millionaire, and then Dave Thomas, who always had this dream of cooking hamburger a unique way, unlike McDonald's, that was his dream. He came out of retirement, started Wendy's, and made another fortune. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope in this short video you can appreciate the 5 powerful business lessons from the late, great Colonel Harland Sanders. So on that note, for those of you who want to discover how you're going to add an additional 25% more gross profit to your bottom line, do so in the next 90 days or less without having to add any new customers or clients. An entrepreneur, do yourself a favor. Grab that free 9-page special report. Just head over to youcanmarketonlinenow.com/sales, because that's where you get it. This is Mark Newsom, Mr. Marketing. We'll see you again next time on the Marketing Minute.